Hi Virgo, it's Kay. You're on the Collective Soul Tarot channel. Welcome back to the channel. Let's begin. Let's find out what Archangel Michael knows you need to hear today. Alright, I hope you're doing well, and please like and subscribe. So what does Archangel Michael have to say today? Sacrifice. Alright, interesting. We'll find out what that means. Sacrifice. Okay, sometimes we let our guard down, lulled into a false sense of security by the familiar and the routine. Our biases act like old friends, reassuring us that everything is just fine, so we stop looking for the signs that tell us otherwise. It's like walking through a dense forest at night without a flashlight, naively believing that the ground beneath us is clear of roots just because we haven't stumbled yet. And then reality hits us like a cold slap. We lose something. Maybe an idea we shared was stolen by someone we trusted, or we expressed vulnerability only to find out it was used against us. It's a harsh wake-up call, reminding us that danger had been lurking in our blind spot all along, disguised in the mundane, wearing sheep's clothing so convincingly that we invited it in. That loss, as painful as it is, becomes the price of our enlightenment, teaching us to see beyond the mask. It's a tough lesson, sure, but it's also necessary, pushing us to finally acknowledge the wolf among us, urging us to keep our eyes wide open from here on out. So making sure that we're seeing the red flags when they present themselves. Don't have to be looking for them specifically, but be on the alert, be on the lookout. Otherwise, somebody might be trying to pull the rug out from underneath your feet for one reason or another. Let's find out, Virgo. What are we talking about? Judgment. Yep, moving forward happily moving forward, answering the call to whatever it is that why you're moving forward. Okay, let's get some clarification for judgment. Here we go. The Hermit. Oh my goodness, okay. Answering the call because you've been receiving guidance to go a certain direction, to move a certain direction at a certain time. Really, we lose something, maybe an idea. The loss is painful, becomes the price of our enlightenment, teaching us to see beyond the mask. It's a tough lesson, sure, but it's also necessary, pushing us to finally acknowledge the wolf among us. So sacrificing, it's like walking through a dense forest at night without a flashlight, and believing the ground beneath us is clear, only to find out differently. Okay. Making sure we are clear on what it is that we are being asked to follow. Be clear on it. I mean, I could easily say, well, just because it's the divine calling you, it's your inner self, your heart's desires are calling you. But if you're not clear on it, you could be stumbling along quite a bit. And talk about stumbling along roads, right? Stumbling along on the road that is possibly the path of least resistance as opposed to the path of resistance. Let's see, this is number 22. It is the cherry twilight color, the red number, 22. Fork in the road. Okay. This traditionally is choice, a tough decision, inertia, and uncertainty. Yeah, we talked about being clear, and this is kind of like the Two of Wands card in the tarot. So the lilac, that's the white number. We want the cherry twilight. That's the red number, 22. Roads, adventure, a chance to get away from an old pattern, a risky choice. A risky choice. So, I'm getting the idea right away that you are being asked to answer the call, because the divine has given you some inspiration, some guidance that's making you feel you're having these ideas. And it might be the ideas that you've had for a long time, ever since you're a kid maybe, but just ideas, and it's kind of one of those things where you never really took them seriously, or you thought to yourself, that ain't ever going to happen, And but it's a risky decision. So it could be something like, but it could probably not going to be, but it's like, what are you going to do with your money? The extra money you have, how are you going to invest it? Are you going to invest it in the sure thing, or are you going to put it in high risk investments, right? And the divine is asking you to grow your finances, let's just say. The divine's asking you to grow your finances, to build up your bank account, or your emergency fund, or the account that you would want to use to put a down payment on a car or a house or something like that, or even to use to go on a whirlwind vacation. Something that really inspires you, something that you really want and to experience. And it could also be that the divine is asking you to put money away from your earnings that you're making working for someone else into an account that's going to have something to do with starting up your own small business. Being inspired to do that. However, what you might be thinking is, well, what's the best way to what's the best way to make money that's going to earn it fast, that's going to make money fast? And you might be thinking, well, I'll go for high end, high risk investments. And the divine might be saying, that risk might be a little bit too risky for you right now, until you have more experience with investments, funds and whatever, mutual funds, bonds, and options and things like that, until you have been in it for, like, let's say 6 months or a year before you start using the money that you have now earned by putting it into more of a sure thing investment, to slide some of it over into a high risk investment fund. This is just an example, but it could be anything else too, like you're feeling inspired to create a business, a small business, and the divine might be guiding you to step out on your own, to do that, to go for it and reach for the stars, kind of thing. Do whatever it is. You've got a creative mind. You have a really great idea, and the divine knows that the world needs it, or would be, crazy after it. So you might be on social media, you might become a podcaster, but whatever it is, the divine is saying, yeah, go ahead and do this, but while you're doing this, stay working. Whereas you might be thinking, yeah, I really want to become a podcaster, I really want to become a small business owner, I really want to do this, I really want to be this, I want to be in this relationship. And the divine is saying, what you're planning on doing in order to make it happen, either in a big way or too soon, is that you're going to do it, try and make something of it by quitting your day-to-day job. Like if you were going to go, and if you didn't want to work at the place you're working at, and you're going to look for a job somewhere else, generally the best advice would be is to stay working until you find another job. And that's basically what the divine is saying to you right now, is that don't be too hasty, too spontaneous, too impulsive right now. Go for what it is, like start taking the steps necessary to follow whatever it is that strikes your fancy, but be practical at the same time. be frugal or be practical or just, be smart about something. Let's see, we got the Seven of Wands. Okay, so maybe it's something that you want to build a house, and you want to build a custom house. Well, a custom house is going to add another $10,000 or more onto just buying a house. It's already made, and you just have to go and look at and buy it. But this is the Seven of Wands, so you might be saying, I want to do this, and I want to do this now, let's say. Okay, and then you got all these seven, because you got the one wand on top. You see the other cards where the guy's got his wand, he's on top of this level. It's higher than the people down below that are poking their sticks at them. Their wands. And you're saying, I want to do this now, but you've got things that you can immediately think of. Responsibilities, debt, that kind of stuff. Do you have enough? Do you have enough population in your town to warrant opening up a shop, like an actual shop, brick and mortar, right? Online, if you're just getting new to being online and being a podcaster, it's kind of like you have to have the audience, right? So you know all these things. You're aware of them because they're there poking reminders at you that you don't have this yet, you don't have that quite yet, and this and that kind of thing. So it's all these things that are poking at you. You know it, and you're saying, but I still want to do it. You still want to do it. So you've got your wand up there and you're saying, I'm going to fight you off because I want to do this. But the divine is trying to remind you that it could be a bit too risky for you, especially if you're going to quit your job to go full time into trying to make something work, especially if it's from scratch. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing we're looking at here. The Wheel of Fortune, which is, a destined plan, a destined path, but also it's like making sure that you have the major ideas and plans and strategy and practicality in place to be able to be successful in that that's the wheel spinning in your favor, where you're ending a cycle of being or doing something that is not it's just been like maybe to you a bit mundane, maybe to you not that exciting, maybe to you boring, same idea, but maybe to you not enough money making opportunities with what I'm currently doing, and I just don't see what I'm doing right now that's going to get me to wherever that goal is that you want to go, at least fast enough, right? And so you need to have a strategy in place that can end that cycle, though. It's what the divine's asking you to. The guidance would be just hold your horses, hold your horses. There will be a time and a day for when you can let the old cycle go, so that you're turning in the direction of a new cycle, starting a new cycle of prosperity and abundance, because we're talking about fortune here. Okay, so it's going to happen, it could happen, and it's going to happen, but only if you dig your heels in a bit. Dig your heels in a bit, get off the higher level and come down to where the other sticks that are poking at you are at, and say, you know what, I do need to pay attention to you too. The King of Swords, that's looking at things very, very, black and white, not allowing your emotions to really catalyze your efforts to make the move now. It's just like you've got the energy. It's either this is you or somebody that you want to talk to or are going to end up talking to you about your business plan or whatever it is, okay? You moving forward. And they're going to say to you, or you're going to be coming to because of this energy here, you're going to be coming to the mind, into the mind that says, okay, I've got to, I got to look at this more responsibly, more practically, without my emotions feeling like, oh, it's going to be so good to have this, right? going to be so good. Like I'm going to be the man about town, the woman about town. I'm going to be respected. I'm going to have all this money, which is going to give me power, and it's going to make me feel good. I'm going to be able to do things I want to do, buy things I want to buy, and I might even be able to hire others and have a team. And, you know, the list goes on, and the things how we can imagine what it'd be like if we were to be able to go towards something. Especially if we were immediately successful, like overnight success, like some singers are, and actors and actresses are, stuff like that, right? But not everybody is in that kind of energy. Most people have to really work hard and for a long time be focused and pay attention to being responsible to what is here now, what we got going on right here that's going to help us grow. Take what we're doing with what we got right now and help us grow. And even if it's something like Virgo, you have a side hustle while you're working a 9 to 5. You have a side hustle that is something that leads to that direction that you want to go, to become more full-time in that area of being on the internet, or being, maybe you want to open up a candle shop in town. So your side hustle might be that you make some candles, not in a huge amount, but some candles, and you sell it. You just sell it. You go around and you drop some candles off. You talk to store owners and say, can I leave a little bundle of candles here? Or you sell them from home, or you sell them online through Facebook Marketplace, or you have a Mercari shop, or you have an Etsy shop. Yeah, stuff like that. Then we have the Ten of Wands. There is the idea that whatever it is that you're going to do, it's going to take a lot of energy, a lot of your time, and it could possibly exhaust you. But if you do it smartly, like this guy here, if you do it smartly with having your your emotions controlled, under wraps, they're there, but it's not like I'm jumping into something because I'm emotionally, my emotions are all over it. So you will have a great deal of responsibility and burdens, but it will be a lot easier for you if you wait until you're in a good place in whatever area that is, if it's money or if it's in a relationship. Like you being in a good place within yourself, feeling good in your life just as you are. Yes, it would be nice to have a partner and that sort of thing, but you're not going to go out and purposely look for one, right? Go to the pub down the street or, wherever else you might go. You're not going to purposely go out and look for it. You're going to live your life as it is right now and being happy in it, centered and grounded in it. Because while you are doing that with yourself, that's when these other people, this man or this woman, comes out of the woodwork, and the two of you meet, eye to eye, and you say, yeah, you strike up a conversation, and you just become of each other. You whether you meet each other or what. Maybe you're out one day shopping, but it's something that is going to, you're going to eventually come upon it when it's the right time and you're ready for it. Okay? That's the way that King of Swords would advise you to do that. That will lead you to your fortune, and that will take these burdens, they'll reduce the burdens. You'll be able to dump the greatest burdens that could possibly happen if you were to jump on it too quickly before you're ready. Reduce that kind of, because it's still starting a new venture, even a new relationship, educational program, whatever. Pardon me, a financial endeavor. It's going to be stressful. You're going to feel the pressure to some extent. But if you've got a backup plan, especially with investments, if you want to go into a riskier fund not the riskiest fund, but the riskier fund, you still have, because there's always the threat of losing what you've put in, your original investment, right? If you're okay with that, losing a little bit of your original investment, then yeah, go with that little bit riskier fund. But don't go with like the riskiest fund that there is out there, because you might be feeling like you could just the more money I put in it, because it's going to grow faster, because it's in a high risk, then I will have that much more. But something happens with the market, it gets dumped, and you've lost your initial investment and the opportunity to earn anything quick. So it's like, if you got a backup plan and you got enough money to play with in that sense, then take on one high risk fund, that kind of thing. Just one. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That they always say that. The Knight of Pentacles, this is going to be a journey for you. It's going to be something that's going to take a while for it to brew, right? Because that's what the divine is saying. If you think that you can jump into something and you're going to be an immediate overnight success, they're telling you right here, it's not going to be that way. It's going to be something that you're just going to have to plug along at, and to invest in it, invest your time and energy into it. We have Temperance. This is where you're going to be able to feel like, what is she doing? She's like looking at the types of wallpaper she might want to put on her wall. That's kind of what the sense I get of that. Because there's pictures on the wall here, picture frames. Looks like she's comparing maybe some wallpapers, and she wants to wallpaper her living room or wherever this is. But she is going to have to consider more than one option, right? She's going to end up looking at least two different designs or patterns or whatever, or types of wallpaper. So it's not like she's going to, the first one she sees, and she's going to say, okay, that's it. It's very rare that happens like that, right? So she's got a lot of things to take into consideration, to weigh out the pros and cons and stuff like that, and find a balance where she's going to say, I feel at peace with my decision. This is good. This is good. I feel at peace. I am moving forward in whatever endeavor I've decided to answer the call to, with whatever the divine is inspiring me to do, but to do it practically. I'm moving forward in a smart way that is going to make me feel like I'm okay. Even if the market dips a little bit, I still have this, hedge fund or whatever you've got something else as a backup plan. Otherwise, the Nine of Swords is like, it's going to leave you feeling like not really, you don't have all your ducks lined up in a row, and you just want to escape through the door, but you got to somehow make it up to that door. It's a desolate land where you're having to lose sleep at night because you're worried about the risk that you're taking. Okay? The risk that you might be taking. The Empress. You want to be able to do this in a way that is going to see you being very successful. The Empress energy is being successful, moving forward in life. You're creating, you're nurturing, you're giving life to. You've got all your, you've got everything that you want to experience. You're very well to do. You're fortunate. You have fortune. However you would consider fortune, you have it, and you're living life pretty good. Now she looks worn and tired and tagged, but that's because this is Beetlejuice, okay? But the usual Empress energy is sitting in a chair, and she's usually pregnant, and she's got all sorts of nature all around her, and she's chilling. She's like, I've done well. I built a nice relationship. I built a bit of an empire. I built a nice money, basket. I built enough money for myself and maybe my kids, that kind of thing. The Ace of Wands, being inspired to be a little bit risky. Here, she's got a can of spray paint, and she's doing graffiti art on the wallpaper. So I think someone's come in and decided to spray on her wall. But no, you can be a little bit riskier now, because you've built yourself a foundation where you're doing things smart, wise, practical. The Eight of Swords, that, the whole idea of things are still going to stress you out a little bit, even so, but it's not the Nine of Swords, and it's not the Ten of Swords. It's the Eight of Swords. You're moving down the ladder of feeling stressed. And the more you take on the idea that it's better to go slow, to do things methodically, because this one always crosses the finish line and successfully wins, right? This one you can rely on. This is the one that is committed, and it is telling the truth. It's all this. You can rely and trust this one here, and that's your journey. That's the one that the divine wants you to be able to trust your journey, trust your inner self, trust yourself, your guidance that you're getting, trust and have faith that when you are to move, you actually make the move. You take that step towards your finish line. You're going to have many finish lines. But the Page of Wands, again, this is like having a brand new chapter in a book where the page is, this is a new beginning for you of inspiration. It's less stressful, your life is now, than it was before, and definitely is a lot less stressful taking it, slowly, one step at a time, being practical, than it would be if you were just to charge forward and say, I'm going to do this anyways, I don't care. I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket. And then we have the Sun. Yeah, well, the Sun is prosperity and abundance and all good fortune. With the Two of Wands, which is like that. It's a Nine of Cups. That is, Nine of Cups is winning. It's wish fulfilling. And then we have the Strength card. So, and the Tower card, we might just say too as well, because you'll have the strength to overcome anything that might, be a hiccup on your path, in your journey. Any kind of hiccup or setback or delay or whatever. Maybe you lose a little bit of money, but you've got other things in place that will help get you over the humps. Okay? So that was a good idea to bring up the Tower card, because there always will be. That's what life is. It is, right? But you got the Two of Wands, so just like you're sitting at a crossroads, but you don't have to be anymore. You can say, you know what, I'm wise to how this should go, and I'm going to take the smart path forward, because I want success. I want victory and success. I'm going to take the wise path forward, because when I do that, this is what happens. I sit in the Nine of Cups energy. I can indulge. I can put my feet up, which is what he's doing. Sit at the desk at work, when you should be working, you're reading like the financial reports or the fiscal report of a company you have or whatever. You're indulging in, like, look at all those numbers. Those numbers look really awesome. I'm like, he's smiling too. You can't quite see the whole smile, but you can see that he's smiling. He's happy with the results. So this is what the energy that you want to be sitting in, Virgo, is that, and Virgo, I know you're the type of person, you know where your dollars are. You know what they look like, or what they don't look like, and what you would like them to look like. So this is very important, that you do things, follow the path that says, I'm going to do it wisely, practically. I'm going to keep my job or keep whatever it is first, and slowly transition into like the side hustle, or to being single, and just letting yourself go out and be social, so that you meet, you get the chance of meeting people, so that you might actually meet eye to eye with somebody. Not forcing it, not trying to go out and look for somebody. Yeah. Or financially, of course, right? So this all looks very, very good, guys. I would say that you are going to be able to, with your strategy and your growing, this whole way of thinking and behaving responsibly, taking things one step at a time, that you're teaching yourself that this was the best decision to make. That that it wasn't smart to be too risky, to make sure that I took the path that was smarter and more fortuitous, fortunate, more fortuitous, right? As opposed to just jumping and tootling off and saying, I'm just going to do this anyway, I'm going to quit my job, even though I don't have my clientele, my person to help me, so help support me. If I want to quit my job and maybe get pregnant and stuff like that, I don't have a person to support me to do that, but I'll just go and quit my job anyways. No. And just, anything, your education, your work, stuff like that, you want to make sure that you have got a backup plan. And this is your bread and butter right now. Your single life is your bread and butter. Your job is your bread and butter. Your education is your bread and butter. And the money that you have right now is your bread and butter. So use it, put it to use slowly and wisely. That's the message here today, Virgo. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.